Hello, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining us. I want to call out right from the get-go, Pamela, you were first, so you and being first there. Thank Thank you all so much for being here. My name is Jonah. I am with Discover, and today we are talking to Mélissa. Super
Hey.
excited. I've done a few events with Mélissa, and it's always a blast, always super informative. So very thrilled for today. Before we get going, just want to make sure everyone, can you pop in the chat? Let us know if you can hear and see us all right. How you doing, Mélissa? Would you wave and say hello so we can make sure your audio
Hello.
videos work?
Hello. Hopefully people can hear me. Let us know where you're from too. I love
Yes.
that.
Yes, where you're from, maybe how you heard about us, Discover, or Mélissa, some things
Oh,
you're excited to learn today. Yeah, let's call it. We got a few tuning in from South Wales, the UK. That's awesome. Oh, tuning in from all over. This is wonderful. Ah,
Yay.
and it looks like everyone can see. And here's, oh, one more. Pamela was tuning in from Long Island. I love it. The internet is so cool that we can all
It's
be here
so
from all
fun.
over the world, right? And yeah, so feel free to use the chat at any point. You all seem very comfortable with the chat, but pop in if there's anything you're excited about, or if Mélissa says anything that blows your mind, or anything. We love the conversation to happen in the chat along with the presentation. And feel free to ask questions throughout the presentation. We'll try and get to them while the presentation is happening. And if
Yep.
not, there will be a dedicated Q&A at the end so we can get to those questions and make sure we answer all of them. And a couple expectations to set: if anything happens or you have to step away from the computer, or a package arrives, or your dog is freaking out, don't fret. There will be a replay available for the whole event. It'll be emailed to you. It'll also be here on the Discover Replay page and the YouTube as well. So you won't lose any information if you have to step away from a second. And yeah, it looks like everyone can hear us and see us all right. So we'll just
Yeah.
get going. So, like I said, I got Mélissa here with me today, Mélissa Peng, and she is going to be teaching and talking to us about how to reach your target customer. We will learn Mélissa Peng, aka the Curly Executive's favorite exercise for reaching your target customer. And we will also learn how to use free resources and information to craft your perfect DIY marketing strategy. Little
Yep.
background on Mélissa. Mélissa's journey in marketing started at the ripe young age of 8 as her mother's right-hand woman in door-to-door makeup sales, and eventually several network marketing organizations. Mélissa earned her MBA from the MIT Sloan School of Management and held roles with marketing behemoths including Procter & Gamble, Macy's, and NBC Universal. After 10 years of successfully climbing the corporate ladder and earning the title of Director of Marketing at the age of 30, she left corporate and her six-figure salary to build a lifestyle focused on pursuing her many passions and her newfound purpose of helping others to do the same, which is what she's going to be doing today. And we're so excited she's here. And I want to get out of the way and hand this over to you, Mélissa, so we can get going.
Oh, well, it's so fun. It's always fun and funny to hear you read my profile. I'm like, oh, yes,
Ah,
that's me. That's me.
yeah.
I want to say one, thank you, Anthony. Anthony is in our Target Customer Challenge course, and he has been on it, giving me feedback and all. Appreciate him so much. Hi, Pamela. Hi, Carla. Hi, Pause on Hovers from New Brunswick. Hi, Norma Kerr from St. Cloud, Florida. I'm originally from Miami, Florida.
Hey.
I am so ready for this, and this is my favorite. And I'm so happy that you're here because I don't extrapolate when I say this is not one that I teach often or have taught often outside of my paid courses. So this one is special, and I'm so happy that you're here live. It is a little complex, so we are going to focus specifically on this one framework. This is one that I don't give out the worksheet to. So take notes. You can totally craft your own, and you can totally watch the replay, press pause, and work on it yourself. So just want to start by saying that. And I think we can get in. I want to know, for everyone who is here, and also thank you for having such great energy in the chat. I feel so good already. But for everyone's here, what is your biggest struggle with reaching your target customer? We're talking about reaching your target customer. What is your biggest struggle? This is going to be our topic for the day. And I am pulling these slides directly out of my Launch in Full Flow course. So we are going to work through them the same way I would work through them there. But first, I want to introduce myself. Slides are in a mix. So these are all the things that Jonah said. I was a director of marketing. I quit that role 3.5 years ago after working for companies like Hewlett Packard, P&G, Macy's, NBC Universal. Now I really enjoy my time working with engaged small business owners who are trying to launch businesses that they love and that feed their souls, who are trying to create things that create impact in the world and that don't just sell products, but sell it in the way that they want to sell them. I am all about launch strategy and events. It is critical to know how to find your target customer when you're thinking through launch strategy and in particular events, because you need them to show up. You do not want to plan and spend millions of dollars on launching a theme park attraction or a new and major fragrance in multiple stores and not have people actually show up to buy. And so that's my past. You can see some fun pictures from it, but I have sold all the things. And what I'm going to show you today applies to every single brand, I see the concerns coming in. We're going to keep talking about them. So please keep sending me your struggle points because I'm going to make this very customized to y'all. So if you're in the audience, normally we are working through this with me within my community as a interactive work session. So if you're in the audience, please, even if you don't comment for anything else, let me know one of the things you're struggling with as it relates to reaching your target, because I want to make sure we're going through that. So we are going to go right in to Launch in Full Flow. Launch in Full Flow is my course. It's the course that you're offered. We go through every single stage in your launch process. We'll talk about that more later. And on day 5, a Launch in Full Flow, we do this exercise focused on reaching our target customers. There's 2 things. You have to have a target customer. You need to know who is your target before you do this exercise. So if you don't know who your target is, this may not apply to you yet. I still want you to pay attention because it may help you think about your target a little bit more. But you do need to know who a specific target is as you start doing this work. Okay. This is the first thing that happens in Launch in Full Flow. We ask a couple of questions. This is us. We typically are doing this live as well as there is an online course. But when we do it live, we ask these questions. What I am most excited about giving my ideal customer is. We need to know what we are delivering to our customer, because when we are trying to find that customer, we want to know what they're looking for, what we have to offer, right? One way I've narrowed down my ideal customer is the more narrow we've made our customer, the more specific we can get with where we're going to find our customer, okay? The primary product I'm going to offer my ideal customer is, depending on what product we're going to offer, it's going to allow us to play in different spaces. So knowing the product is also key to knowing where to reach the target customer. One place I know I can find my ideal customer is when we know one place, that's where we can start. Okay, so these are some of the questions that I have popping up, right? So Anthony struggle finding my ideal audience and where they hang out. We're going to talk about that. I see that Carla and Pamela are asking, have they niched down too much? So I would love for both of y'all to put down your target customers and let me know specifically who they are. Carrie, we will not talk about messaging today, but we did a whole training that was related to messaging. I don't know if I'll be able to remember the title of it. It was the What's in It for Tea training. I don't know if Jonah can do some sleuthing and find it, but it was one of our past ones. It's already recorded. We won't talk specifically about the messaging to reach them, but we've done that before. So there is a training. You can always DM me at Curly Executive on Instagram, and I'll send you the link to that one. Okay. So we won't talk about messaging. We'll more so talk about strategy today. But Pamela and Carla, put in your target customers. We'll talk about it. These are always my goals in Launch in Full Flow. And I want to bring them up today because they're all relevant to finding your target customer, right? We try to learn about ourselves, right? Who you are is going to determine where you play. Some people believe that we need to be on every single channel. I have found that with solopreneurs, when we go to every channel, we are spread too thin. So you're going to see how when we're going through this path to purchase exercise, which is the exercise you're going to learn today, it is important for us to understand ourselves and understand where we really shine, right? I'm great live. I love my live events. I love webinars, things like that. There are other spaces where I'm not so great in. So when I look at the path to finding my target customer, I may choose some forms of social media over others. Maybe I might not choose social media at all. And you might say, is that even possible in this day and age? Yes, there are whole businesses that run exceptionally well with no social media. So it's important that you learn about your self-marketing technology. This is normally my goals. Like I said, I pulled it right through, but we have to have a sales page that communicates to them. And for me, this is my jam, right? Loving yourself, the opportunity, your journey. Again, like I said, same slides for Launch in Full Flow. Today, what are we doing? We are going to learn the path to purchase. We're going to understand how to use this one framework to find new customer opportunities. We're going to understand how to take this one framework and turn it into strategy. If there is one thing that you learn in marketing, it is this. Finally, we're going to talk about the Discover Special. So this is what we're doing today. You're just going to learn one thing. If you have a pen and paper, if you don't already, go get it. I want you to start jotting this down and working this one framework with me. So what is the framework? It is called the path to purchase. The path to purchase. What is the path to purchase? The path to purchase is the journey a customer takes from awareness of a product or awareness of the need for a product to purchase. So this is when someone says, I need someone to help me with my marketing. Cool, right? I need someone to help me with my marketing, right? Now, what do I do? What's my first step? What's my next step, right? All the way from researching it to talking to friends, to this, to that, to then purchasing, that is their journey, right? So our path to purchase is their journey from finding out about a product or to purchasing. Now, I also said awareness of the need for a product. I may not know that I need a product. So for example, I have a dog, super cute little Pomeranian. He's actually sitting right next to me and he gets groomed. My groomer about 2 months ago was like, did you know that under all this beautiful fur, your doggy has little red patches and he's inflamed? I'm like, no, I did not know that. Right? I need a product to solve that. Now, of course, she gave me a recommendation for a product, but then I still did my research and then I eventually bought that product. And then I talked to my vet and she had another product for me and I bought that product too. So that's awareness of the need for a product. Sometimes we don't know we need a product. And we went all the way to the end. Yes, woof, Pamela, woof, woof. I love it. So this is the path to purchase. Now, you will see a million versions of this in different ways. Also, this could really look like a circle, okay? And also, people are jumping around in different areas. I just laid it out like this because these are some of the core pieces. How is this different from a funnel? It may not be different from a funnel at all. It's just that I don't think of it as what are the tactics I'm going to pull to get them down a funnel. I think of this as every customer goes through a journey of purchasing a product and they go through different stages. I need to fundamentally understand what is the shifts, what are the shifts they need to take in the different stages, and where can I find them in the different stages, okay? So when you write your copy, you're going to think about what are the mental hurdles I need to get them through at each stage. But when we are trying to reach them, we need to figure out where can we find them at each stage? Where do I as a brand need to activate at each stage? Okay, so the first stage is awareness. how do people become aware about a product or a product like yours, right? What is the first thing you do when you realize you need a product? Like, okay, he has these red patches. Let me do some research, right? I found out from my awareness came from my groomers, okay? So my groomer told me, doggy has X patch. Go buy this product. Cool. Carla, thank you. Research, go to Google. Then I go to Google, and that is where I researched. Okay, what does it say on Google? What did she say the names of those patches were? Okay, what does she say on Google? What does Google recommend for it? I may talk to my vet. I talk to my vet. What does my vet recommend? She recommends this medicated stuff. Ooh, it's medicated. Let me check out the reviews. I don't know how I feel about that. What do other people say? Maybe there are some natural remedies. Let me go find that. And now I purchase, right? Now, where do I purchase? Oh, this has a website. Oh, Chewy lets me do it with this. Okay, there's free shipping here. There's not there. I'm going to also have many different places I can purchase. Oh, I can purchase this in person at the vet's office. Cool. And then finally, I'm going to evaluate that. That worked really well for me. When my girlfriend says her doggy's itching, oh my gosh, I did this thing. Let me try this thing. Maybe I'll post back on some of those review sites that I found. And then let's say his little booty flares up again. It's not going to, hopefully. I will buy it again. So this is my journey. Awareness, research, purchase, evaluation. Our jobs as marketers is to understand our customers' touch points at every part of the journey. We want to know, how does someone become aware of a product like ours? How does someone research a product like ours? Where are the places they purchase it? How do they evaluate it? And how do they repeat purchase it? And all of this starts working together. Also, these categories are not solo categories. Maybe someone finds about a product in your email because they came to you for something else, but they now have found about a new product in email. So, but they may also make a repeat purchase in email, right? Or they may review it in an email. So again, just to say, things can fall in different categories. I've listed some common touch points here. So business cards, deal sites, blogs, emails, etc. And you may say, this all makes sense to me, right? The detail is us digging in and making these super specific for our products, right? So if I say awareness may happen on social media, I'll say, which social media is my person on? I can give you an example. I have one of my clients, her name is Yvonne. She works on new moms. She helps new moms, right? And so awareness for her, where are new moms? New moms are in new mom groups. There are a crap ton of new mom groups on Facebook. There's also some really cool new mom groups on Reddit. So she's not just posting on Facebook. She's not just posting on Instagram. She's posting in specific spaces with specific hashtags where she knows her target customer is. How did she find these? Was it Carla? She said, go to Google. She might have gone to Google. She may have also gone to Answer the Public. She's gone to different spaces to do the research to find this. We actually did another event where we talked about, I'm giving Jonah all this work in the background. We just talked about free resources on the internet and how do we actually find these people. We gave out so many resources. Okay. And like I said, you can always DM me. I can send you the link to that. But you're going to do, your work is to actually do research upfront to understand how your customer goes through the path to purchase and insert your place in their path to purchase. Instead of expecting them to come to you, we are going to go to them. And digital makes that so easy for us. Okay. So now we're actually going to work through the path to purchase. But first, I need to tell you about two things: enablers and barriers. There are going to be enablers that help us push the customer along the path to purchase. there are also going to be barriers that detract from the path to purchase. So for y'all who are looking for free resources and ways to kind of dig into that customer, Jonah just posted the link of that training. And again, we've done a bunch of trainings. So I'm trying to make sure that we're giving you new things each time and also referring back to other things that we've done. Thank you so much, love. So enablers, right? So if I become aware about a product and I now want to do research, then having testimonials, right, on the page, like, hey, here's my product, right? And so here is my flower hair accessory. You want to buy a flower? And so y'all, this is one of my companies that have flowers all around. If you want to buy this flower or this flower, you want to do some research first because they are costly. They cost a little bit of money. They're premium products. So what do I have? I have testimonials. So you may go and check out these testimonials. Depending on how much research, that might be enough for you. You may say, oh, she's got like 20 people here. They all say it's awesome. I'm good. You may be crazy about research, right? You may say, I don't trust the ones on her website. Does she have a Yelp page? Is she somewhere else? Oh, okay. She's in this publication. I trust this publication. Cool. You may be like, I don't even trust that. Let me see. Y'all, just the other day, I went on Etsy and I did not know this, but if you click on a review in Etsy, you can actually click on the person and DM them. So I'm working on a series of waist beads. So I'm making waist beads. It's a new next brand that's coming out. I got really crafty and I want to brand them. But the problem with waist beads is they go in water. So you want to, I can test all the gemstones, but for the little gold-plated things that I'm going to put on them, I need to know how water tested they are. And most of the vendors do not test. And then you have to buy in bulk. So essentially I'm here and I become aware. Oh my God, they make these little cute tags that are gold that I can put on here with my branding that's going to look amazing and not be uncomfortable for my clients. I need this. Okay, found vendors on Etsy that I like. I like their price point, shipping international, and I have to buy 100. Huh. Dope. Do they research? They say they tarnish. I don't know. Is this real? Is this not real? How many showers do I have to take? They don't have the details. I don't want to spend a couple $100s up front. So I actually clicked on this person. I saw a woman there and her review said, I use these for my waist beads. And I saw her picture and I was like, oh my gosh, she's doing exactly what I want to do. And I actually clicked on her name, wrote her a message and was like, hey, I'm thinking of using these too. I saw you purchased from them like over a year ago. Have you had any issues with water? She replied to me, told me absolutely not. She's good. Done. My research is done. Now I purchase. Now, best believe I'm going to leave a research. I'm going to leave a review too and say, hey, these are great in water. Now, I may not put a picture of my product so that people don't know to hunt me down for that, but I'm totally going to do that. But yes, Etsy reviews, you can actually dig in and research. But depending on your customer, I'm researching a lot more because I'm going to use this for somebody else and I'm going to sell it to someone else. If I was buying for myself, I may not research as much. So your research level is going to depend on your customer. So the more sources we can provide them, the more that's going to be an enabler. Okay. Let's talk about barriers. Barriers are things that stop us in our tracks and do not allow us to go. If this has happened to you, say me in the chat. Have you ever gone to buy a product, put everything in your cart, really excited, and then you saw that shipping and you were like, I don't know if I want to pay for shipping. I don't know. Like, I don't know if I can pay for the $10 of shipping they want me to pay on this $200 that's in my cart. I know I have been there. Yeah, I see me, right? That is a classic example of a barrier to purchase. Shipping, me, right? Shipping can be a barrier to purchase. So you could have done a great job of killing it in SEO so people are super aware of you. Then they researched you. Then they went to purchase you and they were like, ugh, I am not buying that because I'm not paying shipping. Let me see if it's on Amazon. Carla, exactly. Amazon Prime has as well. So you may have them say, let me see if it's on Amazon. I might get that with no shipping. Let me see if I can get it somewhere else. Or what often happens is they said, let me think about it. They go to think about it and they forget and they don't come back, right? So an enabler could be a reminder email. Hey, there's something in your cart. Or an enabler could be has anyone ever gotten hey, I see something's in your cart. We're giving you a one-time offer for free shipping. Y'all, I leave things in my cart all the time now just to see if I will get a coupon for money off if I wait. It's the marketer in me. I literally just saved $100 on a piece of equipment. It was a fitness machine because I waited and they were like, this is still in your cart. Save $100 now. I was like, perfect. That's an enabler because I wasn't going to pay for the shipping, right? So again, enablers are going to help us. Pamela says she does that too. Enablers are going to help us, right? We know people do that too. So what are you doing to help them get through each stage? What about your process or your product or the way you have described your product is stopping you from path to purchase completion? Okay. So this is the path to purchase now. And this is our meaty document that we are going to work through for the rest of this session. There are a couple different parts of this. Think of this as a workshop in a document, okay? So the way it works is we start from the middle, and I'm going to pull it up a little bit differently. So I'm just going to talk it through, but I'm going to pull it up a little bit differently so we can see it. You work from the middle. If you don't have a brand yet, you are just going to focus on understanding the touch points and digging into that. And that is going to be how you create a strategy. For the people who already have an existing brand, you might want to put in your current existing touch points. And then your job is to figure out what's helping, what are the enablers, and what are the barriers. Once you've figured out the enablers, once you've figured out the barriers, you're going to be like, how do I amplify that? If it is an enabler, and if it's a barrier, how do I overcome it? So that is the work that we're going to be doing today. I'm going to walk you through this in a bigger way, but before I continue, let me know if you have any questions in the chat. Let me know if you have any questions in the chat, and I will make sure I answer them for you as I get to a bigger version of this. Boop. And then Jonah, I'm
here with you.
I totally failed at this. Let me move this to a different screen.
And for everyone watching, I just want to mention I'm 99% sure that the links I put to all the videos Mélissa was mentioning are correct. But also, if you just go to YouTube and search Mélissa Peng and Discover, you will get
a university.
Yeah, I was looking back and just going, oh my God, she's done like so much. Yeah, and they're so valuable. And I've done some of them with her, and it's always got my head spinning afterwards. But I highly recommend going back and watching all of those if you get the chance.
Oh, good. Tammy's confirming that they do look good. I love it. Yes, Anthony. Thank you. Thank you for calling me out. I'm about to talk about what is a touch point. So we did have a slide that had common touch points, but it's too hard to switch back and forth. So I'll talk through them as we go through. So this is our path to purchase document. So we are gonna start in the middle. So I want you, if you're doing this at home with me, to think about your brand and to think about what are the touch points. So we will use, trying to figure out if we want to do this for a new brand or an existing brand. I'll use it for both. We'll do this for a new brand and existing brand. And I'm going to do this for y'all. I'm going to do this for a brand that I have not started yet. So this is going to be authentic. So we are going to talk about Woofulness brand. So new brand, I'm starting it. It's a Waist Speeds brand. So what are the ways that someone can become aware about waist beads? So ways that they can become aware. They can become aware because they got referred by a friend, right? Right? People who have bought a previous waist bead, they can become aware. So touch points are all the places where you can have a touch point, meaning where you can interact with your customer or where your customer can find out about you, your service, or your product. So places where you can touch your customer essentially, but not in that creepy way. Just, we'll say we'll touch their hearts. So for me, awareness points. Facebook, right? People can find out about my personal Facebook. They can find out about local Facebooks. They can find out about maker Facebooks, right? And I'm going to be as specific as possible and really start thinking through this. So for me and for you, I want you, don't just write Facebook, write down exactly where. So for me, if I was filling this out under awareness, I would say my personal Facebook page. I would also say the Black Austin Facebook page, right? They like to feature Black makers. I'm Black Austin Facebook page. I'm based in Austin, y'all. I would say my neighborhood Facebook page, right? Because I'm trying to sell these waist beads. Wouldn't it be convenient if I had a bunch of customers in my neighborhood? Cool. Now I'm part of a maker community, so they could find out in the maker page. Waist beads are used for weight loss, right? So Round Rock, my local neighborhood, has a Round Rock weight loss page. So that could be a place. This is waist beads they could find out on Google, right? They're searching on Google. They're looking for waist beads. Instagram could be a place. Specifically on Instagram, on the waist beads hashtags. Now, if you don't know on Instagram, put in the hashtag. Find it on Twitter. The last link that Jonah just posted will give you some ideas, right? Outside of social media, I could go door to door and they could find out. I can go to the local market and this is the place that they could buy it. There could be a fitness expo. And so I'm going to bring this to fitness. So this is where the target customer comes in. You have to think of who is your target. So if the target for my waist beads is a woman aged 30 plus on the spiritual woo-woo side. And so let's say she's 20 to 30, spiritual woo-woo side, likes gemstones, wants something intentional where she can take the things that she loves about gemstones, but put it on her body. I have to think of where is this woo-woo woman going to be? And so she might be going to yoga. So she could find out about these other yoga studios. She might be going to specific wellness events. She might be going to specific community events to connect with other spiritual women, right? There may be a specific fair. So I want to think about every place that this person is going to find information or someone selling waist beads. Boom. I'm going to write all of those down. What that translates to me is a list of places I can be. Now, I just started talking about this and I already mentioned like 4 or 5 different places I could post, events that maybe I could participate in or physically go to, right? Like what you're going to find is there's only 5 spaces on here, but the reality is when my clients do this, we will write out 20, 30, 40 things per area. And the question is, where are you going to play? Where are you going to invest? And you may say, I'm going to invest in places. And the mix to me is you're going to invest in places where your customers are, where you think is most relevant, but also where you feel most comfortable. When we do this work and we really deep dive into each of the categories, you can literally come up. When I do this with my one-on-one clients, we literally take this one exercise and come up with what usually nets out to be like a 3 to 5 year plan. Because once we're done figuring out all of the awareness channels, the research channels, etc., they can't actually do them all in a year. And so we say, okay, well, what do we want to prioritize first? What do we want to try first? What do we think is going to work best first? Does this make sense? Are there any questions as we keep going through this? Any questions on this? And again, she says she has 14 places so far on awareness. I love that. And here's the crazy part. These are the places you know off the top of your head. So with a little bit of digging, you can go even further. Now, what's nuts is if I open up my Facebook page, I can tell you that I have not launched this brand. There is no website yet. There is no anything yet. And I have sold multiple. These are actually for customers, right? So they're like buying them, and they are buying them off of my personal Facebook. And I'm tagging people in their orders, and those are turning into referrals already. I just posted in 3 groups because I want to have a photo shoot, but I was strategic about what groups I posted in. And guess what? There are customers in those groups too. And so while I can't post about my product and say, buy my product, I can post and say, hey, I'm running a photo shoot and I need models and I'm going to pay for it in those groups. But guess what? Now I have multiple people saying, where can I buy one? So sometimes we think that when we are talking about these awareness touch points, I have to be overtly selling in them. To be honest, most times we just have to show up and say, I exist and I serve the need. Right? So again, awareness, this is where SEO, blogging, a website is going to be useful, right? This is where your preferred social media, but like this has to be the mix of what you prefer and where your customer is. This whole exercise, the summary of this is, I need you to know where your customer is so you can go to your customer, period. Okay. Research. Again, we're going to dig into every single thing. Where can you research? Some people think of Google. Everyone thinks of Google, but some people miss out on how much research is done on social media. Some people miss out on how much people find out about things in blogs. Some people miss out communities. I had a book launch, and she sold at church book fairs, and she made a killing, right? Church book fairs. And this is like where people found her, but they found it by talking to other church members, right? And they're people that they trust. So for research, I want to say, like, where are the people that your people are going to trust, but also realize that you providing the reviews, the links, the details that you can on your website is already going to be helpful, right? So you're going to take the time and think through every single touch point in each category. If anyone has a question on different categories, please ask me so that I can explain what each category is. But awareness is how they find out about it. Research is how they research it. Purchase is how they purchase, like where and how they purchase, which is a mix of in-person and online things. Evaluation is how they review it, and repeat purchase is how do they find out about repeat purchasing, which is usually something that you are providing to them, but sometimes Etsy, sometimes some of the vendors that we work with can also provide them like reminders to purchase again, things like this. Okay. So Anthony says, one issue I've come across in Facebook groups is the admins don't allow any kind of business references or adverts. This is very common and it's very true. Depending on the space you are in, you may need to start your own Facebook group. That sounds crazy, but that's what a lot of my people are in. They're like, ooh, maybe I need to start my own Facebook group. Most spaces also allow one post a week in a specific day. So some of the things that my clients have done is, one, they will make a list of every single Facebook group that is relevant and that they can target. And they will literally have all of the days that they are allowed to post in those groups. And they will work and make sure they post on those specific days. Other things is, what is great is help. So social media is meant to be social. So another thing that they'll do is they'll help people in those specific Facebook groups. So they'll become a very awesome voice in that Facebook group. People be asking for help and they will be there and they're like, I'm going to help 10 people today. When they help 10 people in those Facebook groups, their name keeps popping up over and over again. When they provide great help, it turns into people clicking on your links and figuring things out. Some of my clients have specific helping videos, right? So Yvonne, she cannot post in mom's groups about her services, but if a mom has a question about latching, she can link to a video that she created about latching. So that's another way to get around by providing value in those spaces that is free and helpful and not salesy. Your job is not to sell necessarily in each of these spaces that you find. It's to be present and provide value. So the more you can be present and give in these spaces, the more that that's going to convert. even though it's not a direct sale. Now, here's the fun part. A lot of these Facebook groups need content, and they need, they want to make money. They want to monetize. So sometimes you can reach out to the Facebook group owner and also ask them to do a joint venture partnership. So like where you could get with them, you can do a webinar, a teaching thing that provides content to them. Sometimes you give them a cut of sales, sometimes you don't. So just know that for social, your job is to find out how you can create value in these groups so that people want to know what you're doing and want to get more of your help and pay for it. Okay. What if my people are the same people that other bigger, more well-known companies are targeting? Tammy, that is everybody's problem. So that is true of most small businesses, right? You always have a bigger business competitor, but people are going to choose you. What you're going to compete on is whatever differentiates you. There's something that makes you different and unique versus them. Sometimes it's literally the fact that you're smaller and local. People trust us more. But that is, give me a little bit more context of what your company is and we'll talk about it. But that is something that is normal. And you just have to get past that because your customers still exist and they're going to want what you are uniquely providing. But let me know a little bit more and I can give you a little bit more. Okay. So then Norma said, give an example of being in a group and providing value without being salesy. I think we did a little bit of that. Norma, we were talking about if someone has a question, answer and be helpful without selling. Create like blog posts, things like that that are helpful and pass along. So this is going to be some of the things that you can do. And I would say overall, my whole thing is providing value without being salesy right now. Right? I'm here. I'm providing value. I'm not selling actually. I will sell right at the bottom, right at the end, but this is me providing value for like a whole hour before I even mention what I do. So yes. Product management online training. I don't know what that means. I'm not going to lie. I don't know what that means. I need a little bit more context on product management. I promise I'll give you more. Give me more. I'll give you more. So we're going to talk about enablers really quickly. When you know what's working in your business. So if you have an existing business, you are going to map out every single touch point that you exist on in every single area. So an existing business. Okay. Right now I have my flower business. Awareness, right? We have a website. We've been mentioned in a couple of blog posts. I think we're on YouTube, but we haven't posted videos in a while. And we are on Instagram. Cool. Research. I've got some testimonials up there and I think we're in a couple blog posts. Purchase. They can purchase on the website right now. They can't purchase in person. I'm not doing events anymore. Evaluation. I would have to reach out and review and repeat purchase. So when I map out my flower business, and this is my business right now, this business is dormant for the moment, but this is my business. I'm going to map out all of my touch points. And what you will find is I don't have many, but what are enablers? Enablers are, okay, what are the things that are working really well? Well, actually, for awareness, one of the ways people find out about me is live sales. So one of my enablers is live sales. Live sales is killing it. And so one of my amplify ideas might be, I'm going to do live sales every single week, and I'm going to advertise live sales before they happen so that they really work well. And I'm going to send a recap email of live sales so that people not only purchase from seeing it on Instagram, but also get it in email. So do you see how enablers are working where you say, what am I currently doing that's working really well in each category? So live sales was my awareness, right? Research, having some well-known pinup dolls and people who wear flowers, that works well for my research. And also being in, I am in some bigger brand collaboration. So that really works well for me on research. So what my amplify ideas be, find one or two more core collaborators like my existing collaborators. So we are literally going through our personal businesses. If we already have a business, we're writing down all the touch points and we're saying, what can I do that's more? Okay. Most of us, when we really dig into our personal business, someone earlier said she had 14 ideas off the top of her head just in awareness. But most of us, when we really think about our current awareness channels or touch points, it's like 3 or 4 when we could have 14 instead of being in just 3 or 4. So we have to like really think through these. Okay. Barrier, same thing. Awareness. If one of my awareness channels is social media, but I haven't been posting lately, a barrier might be, hey, my consistency with posting is crappy right now. I'm not using the right hashtags. People aren't seeing my posts. So how do I overcome this barrier? Right? And I'm going to pick some different overcome ideas. Maybe I'm going to partner with some core and key influencers. Maybe I'm going to revise my hashtag strategy. Maybe I'm going to post more consistently. Maybe I'm going to start posting reels so that the algorithm can pick me up. So I'm going to think about every single touch point. What's working well? How do I amplify that? What's not working well? How do I overcome that? What touch points are missing from my plan? This is this worksheet is one of the most complex. It's literally the most complex worksheet I have. Okay. I'm doing my best to explain it, but we dig in deep with this worksheet. And then this worksheet is what you will use to create your overall marketing strategy. So what this will tell you is where to fish and what do I need to build to fish in these places. For me, when I applied this to my flower hair accessories brand, I worked through this and this is very specific. It says pick a specific customer. When I was doing this for my hair accessories brand, I had multiple customers, right? I had the beautiful Black woman with an afro like me who worked in corporate. I had the pinup doll who wears flowers every day. When I did this for the pinup dolls and I wrote this down, I was like, I don't know where someone who follows pinup and rockabilly culture finds out about hair flowers. Let me see. I found a client. Her name is Heather Hotcakes. She's actually on Instagram as Heather Hotcakes. She's amazing. This woman came up and she just bought all these flowers. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need more of her. And I started following her. And I started seeing her go to different car shows. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's buying flowers at car shows, right? When I went to the car shows and I looked here, I was like, look at all the vendors. She's buying flowers at car shows. She's buying flowers at vintage events like Dapper Days. Let me go and find all of the car show type events, the rockabilly events, the vintage events. I ended up with 11 markets in very specific niches, and they sold out every single time. Like, these are the differences. When we get really deep with the path to purchase, that's where we can kind of really affect change. So like I said, I know this is a very meaty exercise. It's not super complex, but I want you to get real in the weeds and be very specific in each section, and then be really clear on where are you playing and where are you not playing. What you should net out with is some crazy long laundry list of all the things you could potentially do. But the reality is there's probably just one of you or a couple of you if you're here. You don't have massive budgets, millions of dollars. This exercise is modified from an exercise we would do regularly at Procter & Gamble. So you know Procter & Gamble. They can be everywhere. You can't be everywhere. Okay? And so what you are probably going to have to do, and what you will have to do, is prioritize, right? You'll have to take all of these touch points and all of these ideas you have, and then you have to say, okay, now I have to make some choices. And so we're going to jump back into the slides to take this home. I'm going to make sure I hit some of the questions at the end. Let me know if there are more questions as it specifically relates to path to purchase. But, right, this is your homework. I want you to, and yes, can you stick what Norma has on here? Yes. Practice thinking like your target customer. 100%, Norma. Go through what your target customer goes through when they're trying to buy your thing. Think about all the places they would go, all the places they could possibly find out about it. This should directly relate back to your target customer profile, because you should know that target's behavior. If I'm your target, what am I doing every day, right? Where am I shopping? What am I eating? You know, how do I spend my free time? Where am I hanging out on the internet? What groups am I in? What hashtags am I using? Who am I talking to, and where do they get influenced? These are all the things we should really know about our target. And then when we know that person, think through that person's path. So exactly that, Norma. So then you are going to identify the missing opportunities along the path to purchase. Now, in my community, we work on 12-week plans. And so I like to take this and put this back into, okay, I've identified like 50 opportunities. I'm going to do 2 in the next 12 weeks. What are they? Everything else I documented in what I call a parking lot, which for most of my people is like, it's on Trello, free organization tool. We put in all those ideas. If you get really excited because, oh my God, I found a new touch point, I know exactly what I could do there, write down that idea, go crazy, go down that little strategy rabbit hole, and then put it to the side and say, I'm coming back to it if it's not for right now. Okay. And then again, if you have an existing idea, that's when you do the overcome and amplify. For everybody else, you're focused on that center of that document. Okay. Now, how do I choose what to focus on along the path to purchase? This is common. You're going to get all these ideas. And ideally, we need to make sure we choose ideas and touch points that are both in our wheelhouse, in our comfort zone, and also where our customer is, right? Because sometimes maybe there's less people there, but you kill it in that space and you know that space really well, right? So you've got to make sure this aligns with you and your way of working. I have people, like I said, that hate social media. They want to work in different ways. I was watching something the other day. A woman, she flyered. So she literally handed out flyers, 6-figure business, flyering, no social media, right? So marketing should be done on purpose, in purpose, and with purpose, right? On purpose, in purpose, and with purpose. So we want to find those channels, those touch points where we feel like, okay, this aligns to my purpose. I'm being intentional with this and it makes sense. Purpose is one of my frameworks from my new course, Giving Not Selling. It's coming out in October, so it doesn't exist yet, but I've been using this one to help my folks think through the touch points. So once you have your crazy list of all your things, this is what we're thinking of, right? 1, we need to make a plan and we need to prioritize those plans, right? We need to prioritize these different touch points, these different ideas that come out of that work that we just did with Path to Purchase. So some of the ways you can prioritize: 1, understand the impact. Understand the impact that each of those touch points and each of those channels have on your target customer. Because some things are going to be way more relevant to my target customer. Me being at those events in Nashville, hugely impactful for some of those target customers. Why? Because they saw me, they felt like I was part of their community. So even though later I made a bunch of online sales, it was really important that I got into that community and they could physically see, touch, and feel my products. Okay. So that channel was way more important. That touch point was more important to me than some of the other online touch points. ROI. This is money. We're doing businesses, right? We need to convert. So as you're trying these, you're going to take your best guess. What is going to give me a better return, right? What's going to give me a better return? So you're going to take your best guess on what gives you a better return. But as you are going through, I like to say there's no marketing without measurement. So as you're going through, you're going to be measuring. You're going to be measuring. You're going to be measuring, right? Players. Somebody else was talking about this, right? What if I'm competing with big companies, right? Sometimes you are, but sometimes you're in spaces where you're not competing in big companies. Sometimes your target is servicing someone who, yes, could go to a big company, but maybe has a bigger chance of meeting you in person. So think about the players who already exist in these spaces. Oftentimes we feel the need to be in spaces where everyone else is, and we forget that we have so much opportunity that exists in other spaces. I like to say that we can collaborate with anyone who has the same target customer and a different product. So again, you can collaborate with anyone who has the same target customer and a different product, right? So there's a lot of potential places that you could be that are unexpected. I like, one of my big questions is, what is one unexpected place that the customer can find you? Okay. And so like, I've never seen waist beads sold at a yoga studio, but mine are so woo-woo. They're going to be perfect. I'm going to totally get them in my Bikram yoga studio, right? And that might align really well. So think about where the players are and be in a place that makes you, it falls into 1 in a million. So you need to assess the competition and think about that for your touch points and for your channels that you choose. What makes you 1 in a million? What do you kill it at? What does your product kill it at? We want to make sure we're maximizing that when we make our choices. What are your strengths? Be honest. If you suck at email, maybe that's not your core strategy. Like sometimes we want to make ourselves better at all the things we suck at, and we just net out mediocre. How do you make yourself killer at the thing you're awesome at? So think through your strengths when we're first choosing. That doesn't mean we're not going to play in areas that are not our strengths, but if we can maximize in our strengths, that's going to be great. And then finally, you actually have to execute. So many people do this, and y'all, they do not execute. So this is how we go from, again, these ideas, these brilliant ideas, to an actual strategy. Okay. These are some of the things I want you to consider as you're going through. And I think that should be it for today. Our time today is almost over. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the offer, and then whoever hangs out, I'll answer any questions. So this is the moment to add in all your other questions that are sitting there, and I'll make sure I go through. I'm happy to stay over a little bit and answer as many as I can. This is your offer today. It is my Launch in Full Flow course. This is the one course I teach Path to Purchase in. I do also teach Path to Purchase in Trust Your Flow. So Trust Your Flow is, if you're trying to figure out your idea, that is the course for you. You don't know what you want to launch. If you're like, I want to figure out my idea, but I also want to take it all the way to completion, I am ready to launch. This is Launch in Full Flow. We do the idea, and I'm going to actually show you all the steps, but we go through all of the steps to go from an idea, or, hey, I'm here to really help and bring something to light, all the way to launching it. It has 10 original frameworks, 10 lessons. I work with you for 6 months in Q&A form. And we have a 72-page workbook, which, don't freak out, but there is a 72-page workbook for you to go through. We also teach this live. This is really relevant because you will get it live. I'm laughing at this because Pamela's like, actually execute my ideas. Yes, execute them. So we go through visioning. We go through money mindset. When I do this live, I literally teach this, y'all, in 2 weeks, even though it's a 6-month course that you can work on. So I spend 42 hours with y'all over the 2 weeks. And we go through visioning. We go through your money mindset. Why? Because if you do not know what you're doing and why, if you don't understand some of your money mindset lurkers, they without fail constantly creep up, and we have issues later down in the launch. We dig into target customer, competitive research, branding. We do the deep dive. Day 5 is where we deep dive on Path to Purchase. We do a couple different frameworks to help you find your figures and pricing. Yes, big up, big up. We do the offer clinic, where I actually work on your offer and we hone it. We do action planning, the promotional plan, lead magnets, traffic drivers, and then we work through your website. And we just help you quickly get up with, our goal is to get you to a great sales page, a basic website. So sales page, contact page, and sales page, contact page, and I'm missing something, and a lead magnet. Those are my core things, and an about page. There we go. And then at the end, we celebrate with an event we call Badass Bubbly Big Up. It's something we do every month in my community, where we big up ourselves. My mom is Jamaican, and big up yourself means just boast about yourself. So we have a special Discover special. You are going to save, I calculated this today, $2,279. This will go away. I'm teaching something one more time on the 29th. Then you'll have a whole encyclopedia B. And after that, you won't see this offer again. It's not going to happen again on Discover. You've got this time, you probably have next time, but that's it. Just being real. Why this time is special though. So you do save 20%, which is $500 off this 6-month program. You get our next launch camp for free. We do something called launch camp. That's what I just showed you, the 14-day training. Our next launch camp starts November 29th, but our current launch camp is running now. So if you're watching this and you're like, I need to launch now, if you join now, you will come live with me every morning from 10 to 1 CT right now. And you get 1 month of Club Workflow for free. So that is your special offer. Please click on the link. I think Jonah is going to drop it in there. Check it out. Come and launch with me. We are going to have fun. And like I said, this is you're not going to see Launch Camp again for free outside of these Discover events. So please come through. Norma, you do not get it all for free, but you do get to save $2,279 with today's offer. Norma's like, I'm Jamaican. Do I get it all for free? I love it. The last thing I'll say is if you have been watching me, and if you have been enjoying this, please fill in the impact form. I've reached my impact goal for the year. We've impacted 3,030 people with our free services and free workshops, but I want to help a few more, and I haven't hit my total for Black women. So please fill it in. And that's it. How do we help you today? Let me know one thing that was of value to you. If Jonah's cool with it, I'll spend a couple minutes and ask some of the questions I think I missed in the chat.
Of course. Thank you so much, Mélissa. And for everyone watching, just to make sure you have access to that, the link is pinned in the chat for the course. It'll also be emailed to you along with the replay, and it will be in the YouTube description until YouTube is taken down. Yeah, if I can field one of these, I just wanted to touch on it because you're such a wonderful energy and such a wonderful spirit.
Thank you.
And I've struggled with this, and clients I've had have struggled with this as well. But Pamela mentioned this in a few comments, but just struggling with imposter syndrome, feeling like you're not the person who can sell the product, or maybe you're not the person that relates to your target customer. I know it can be a big topic and it can relate a lot, depending on who you are. But do you have just like at least one bit of advice for tackling that when going out to look for your target customer? I
will say 3 things. One, unfortunately, the solve for this is to just do it. There's no real solve, right? We don't work it out until we start going through the motions and actually trying. But the 2 other things, one, my favorite customer, and she is really my ideal target customer. And we're working things around her now because I'm like, this is who I want to work with. She has a very different energy from me. She's super calm. And when she met me, you're going to laugh, I had COVID. So I was like so tired and not myself. And she was like, I am so happy that when I saw you, you were COVID Mélissa and not normal Mélissa, because I didn't want all that energy in my life. And it was nice to have someone who was quiet and calm and all that stuff. Now it worked out really well because she absolutely loves me and we needed she needed the this Mélissa, right? But different people need different things. Pamela, you are going to inspire and resonate with so many people because you are out there and because you aren't the standard like way of being. There are so many people who need to see that, need to see you, need to see your voice, and need to see themselves represented. Unfortunately, we have a culture of putting to the forefront certain faces, personalities, figures, but that's not what actually resonates with everyone. And so please know that there is a big space missing for you. I think even me, like the last thing I'll say is a Black woman, I don't see myself in a lot of spaces that I ended up in. And me being in them have been so impactful for the people who now work with me. And if I wasn't the person to step into that role, there'd just be a void. So essentially what I'm saying is you are someone's miracle woman and you just have to get out there. And I know that might not make you feel great, but it doesn't solve the problem, but that's the actual answer. A book that I love though is You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. Absolutely love it. First time I read it, wasn't in the right headspace. Second time, I was in the exact right moment. It changed my life. So that's one book I would recommend. Couple questions I have. So let's see. Tammy, I don't know if Tammy gave me a little bit more about her company here, but I think Tammy said that you do project. She was worried about bigger companies doing what she does. And I think you said you do project management or product management for online sites. I know I'm screwing that up. So, but just to say, when you are a smaller vendor that's servicing people feel like you can offer better customer service. There's potentially like a local component. So I want you to think about like, what are all the things I can do better than a larger company and make that list for you. This goes for both of y'all. We need to have allowing statements in our life. So these are going to be the statements or the statistics that show us that it's possible for us too. So even if I have an imposter syndrome, like, oh my God, I don't know if I could ever be a millionaire. There are like over 18 million millionaires in the US. And I'm like, I feel like I could be one of 18 million, right? So you may have to do some of the research to create the allowing statements for you. I like to say, find people who are doing it and who are killing it and start paying attention to them. Don't focus on what you don't have, focus on what you do have. So that's kind of for me the same. It's in the same vein when we talk about a smaller company, going after what, competing with a larger company, but we are pretty much always competing with larger companies. It's normal. So it's something we're going to learn to do. A question about, I'm just running through these. Anthony was asking about how hard is it to run a Facebook group. It's as hard as you make it. It can be more or less complicated. You can have some very involved groups. You can have some less involved ones. To run it in a way that's going to be effective to then sell products, you have to build trust with people. You have to have a basic and regular cadence of communication so that when you launch your product, it makes sense. You also should be very clear on what the need is you're meeting with that group. So it's not just a free-for-all. So it does take some work. It's not for everyone. My big question would be, do you think you will enjoy it? Because if you think you will enjoy it, then it could be worth running it. Don't just start it just to drum up business, but because you think you would enjoy it and you can drum up business. I understand.
I'd finish your sentence. I
was just going to say, I understand a lot of pages have rules, but there are still a lot of pages out there that don't have as many rules as you would think. And if you have an online product in particular, it's huge. And also sometimes it's about how you speak about your product. So when I did my dance business, I have a dance company called Pon the Beat. We found 40 Facebook pages and we would post in these 40 Facebook pages every time we had an event. And it was less, we would post about the people who were coming through and we would share dance videos. And at the end of the dance video, there was a call to action for it was filmed by us. So it had our event thing and those worked really well. So it might be what we're posting. And like I said, it's coming back to like, add the value. Don't necessarily focus on the sale, but if you consistently add value and you're in the right place, then your target customer is going to see you, become aware of you, and then can get to your website, etc., and buy.
Right. Well, I had a little bit of a follow-up question to that because I've seen some really clever ways in Facebook groups where people are selling, but they're not selling. And do you have a resource or any advice of where to look for just more ideas of how to do the
sales? I would say, to be honest, I don't love tactics. So I always say like, what feels authentic to you that would provide value and give to your customer. And when you do that, then that becomes the who is she, right? That being said, there are always ways, like, introduce yourself. Like, the biggest thing that I find is people just don't open their mouth. Like, you'll and some of us add value, and we literally don't say, I do this, I sell this, this is what I create. Like, that is the biggest thing I find. I've had people come into my program and literally go from making nothing to $5,000 in a month, and we really didn't do anything differently. They just started actually saying, I do this. You can come to me for this. Please come to me for this. So that's sometimes, like, that's usually the biggest miss. I actually low-key hate secret sells that feel like secret sells. Does that make sense, Jonah? Like, I'm like,
yeah,
okay, I got it. You got a product. Like, I don't actually love those. I like people who are genuinely giving. This is a lot easier when you're working on a business that you're passionate about and that you're interested in, you know?
Right.
Yep.
Oh, Tammy had an interesting question that's a little different than the imposter thing, but was
Please.
in relation. Do you ever find that even though you have the experience and you know your shit, but not the educational experience, i.e. the masters or work for, how do you get people to think that your product is credible when you maybe don't have the credibility that
that
you
is
think
totally
you should right off the bat?
That kind of, to me, falls in like my imposter syndrome, mindset block, etc. I put that in my money mindset lurkers. It falls under, I have 4 H's of money mindset. We've got habit, history, what I call hypochondria, and homies, right? And to me, that falls in my hypochondria. Like, if I don't have X degree, if I don't have an extra credibility, people will not believe that I can provide value. That is and that can also be homies, right? Like, you're not that smart. You don't have a degree in that. How are you doing that? Right. So these are mindset lurkers that will stop you from doing things. Tony Robbins, billions of dollars. He don't have a degree. I can keep telling you so many people, they don't have degrees in anything. I have a degree from MIT. That's really cool. And I'll use it. But not really. If I came here and delivered you clear value and never mentioned I was from MIT, you'd still buy a product. So the reality is, like, yeah, when you have a degree, it's great. And you can talk about that. There are certain things you can't sell without a degree, but not as many as you would think. So that, to me, is kind of internal work that we do. But I can tell you, I know multiple millionaires and multimillionaires that do not have degrees, and I can Google you a bunch of billionaires too. But I personally know people, and they do not have degrees, they have experience. And I also would say that sometimes my MIT degree has worked against me, because people make assumptions about you based on where you went to school or what degree you have. And when you don't have that degree, you're a blank slate. And then they have to judge by what you give them. And the last thing I'll say is, people are always going to judge you, but that might not be your target customer. And I said that was the last thing, but there was one more, which is, I have a client. She started as, she's a self-taught painter. She's really cool. Wow. And she started painting on like the back of like Trader Joe's boxes, cardboards, and like was charging super cheap. And now she is she just worked with Google and Lexus. She's doing huge murals. She's really cool. Her name's Katie. She actually won a grant from me and then worked with me for a year, then started making money and became a client. No degree whatsoever. No degree whatsoever. So just to say, like, you don't need that. You think you do, but the only way that's going to stop you is if you stop you.
So just to internalize that for myself, because I think that was so valuable what you just said, to bring it back to value, the quality of the value you're offering is the credibility.
Yes, it's the credibility. And
I love that.
And it's not just the quality. So the thing that differentiates people that people forget is it's taking it and refining it. So here's a trick. You want to know a trick? Yes. If y'all have come to any of my other ones, purpose, for example, to any of my other things you've heard, purpose, Swift, etc. If you can take your thing and break it down into a way that people can understand it, your own framework, your way of thinking. It's not as hard as you think, but it's that extra step. Then when you speak about it, you can be very articulate. So when I worked at Procter and Gamble, they sent us to training and they forced us to take complex ideas and put them into one page or one paragraph. So you would have literally like a multi-million-dollar idea and all the details on one page. Like, what's your one pager? This is the elevator pitch, right?
Yeah.
It was crazy. But the crazy thing is it would take us months sometimes to do the work to put it on one page. And where I think people fail and what maybe education sometimes brings us is that extra step of doing the work to put it on the one page. And so what I would say is I see so many amazing, knowledgeable people, but they don't take the moment to say, how am I going to condense this amazing thing I know and explain it to people in a clear and concise way? So that's the trick. When you can give it to people in a clear and concise way, they can quickly have their aha moment, and then they don't give a shit about your degree. Excuse my French. They just want to know what you can provide to them.
I love that so much. Yeah, well, and it that helps you out of the imposter syndrome as well. That's so valuable.
Yeah. I don't see any other questions, but I see some great comments. I did want to say, Pamela, everything you're saying is spot on with the work that you're planning on doing and driving more traffic and stuff. I love seeing those ideas. They are totally spot on. And also, like, I love the way that y'all are communicating in the chat. Like, keep in touch with each other. I don't know how, but do it. Drops you links. And Tammy, Street Smarts is a whole thing. People love that. And people frankly trust that. The US is like a company that's all about like working your way up, self-made, etc. I swear to you, people will trust Street Smarts over Book Smarts any day in this country. Real talk. Like, they're like, oh no, but this person learned. She learned through experience. I don't know about that Harvard girl. So just to be real. But yes, thank you. Anything else, Jonah, before? I know I went so over today. I'm so sorry.
No, you're okay. And I was just gonna mimic your sentiment and just say thank you so much, everyone who's watching. You've been an incredible watching the whole discussion that's been going on, and especially I see people like dropping their handles here and there to keep in contact. Yeah, thank you all so much for being here. Thank you, Mélissa, for this awesome event. It's always a joy to have you. For all those watching, if you like events like these, if you had a good time, please like and subscribe to the Discovery YouTube channel. We're consistently trying to bring creators like Mélissa out here to help share and grow this community of wonderful entrepreneurs and people working their way up through all the challenges to be better and bigger. Mélissa, I do always like to ask before we sign off, do you have any last little just parting words of advice for those who are really trying to hone in on these struggles in finding their target customers?
Yeah. I would say Norma said it best. Get in the heads of your target customer. Understand what they're thinking. What are the mindset shifts they need to make? Where are they? Where they're hanging out? These are the things we need to know, and then just think like them. Like, this is the biggest step that people miss. It's literally trying to be in their shoes, get out of your own head, get in their shoes and think through it. That is going to be your guide. And I promise you, all the crazy tactics that you see online, they're very sexy, right? Do this, do that, and it can drive you crazy. But they all come back to one fundamental, which is this, like understanding your customer's behavior and understanding their path to purchase. So thank you. And I really hope you enjoyed it. I had a blast today. Thank you for the energy, y'all, in the chat. It has me going 20 minutes over, but I appreciate y'all so much.
It's all good. When it's good, and we can keep it going. Thank you so much, Mélissa, and thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you all very soon.
See you soon.